In all of the lore, there is one lightsaber that commands more fear and respect than any other. A lightsaber that has literally been hated by the Jedi for centuries. A Jedi constructed, and once it drew Jedi blood, would never be forgiven. The blood of the fallen Jedi etched into the blade itself, causing it to become twisted, evil, and an object of great concern for many generations of Jedi. Greetings, acolytes and wielders of the Force, and welcome back to our archives. Today, we will be discussing something of true nightmares for the Jedi Order, a lightsaber that represents the darkest deeds of a former student, and just how far a knight of the righteous order can truly fall. Today, we will be discussing a lightsaber that literally caused the Jedi Order to create a secret organization to hunt it down, along with other dark side Sith artifacts. A lightsaber that was stolen from the Jedi more than once, and a lightsaber that took decades and later centuries to track down successfully. In today's Dark Holocron, we will be looking at the lightsaber of Exar Kun, how the Jedi Order found it, lost it, and then attempted desperately to locate it again, and eventually why the Jedi High Council elected to seal the lightsaber away in a nullifying resin that removed all the dark energy from its immediate proximity, and why even this did not work. Today, my friends, we are going to be examining the lightsaber of Exar Kun, the most feared and outright hated lightsaber in all of the lore. The fallen Jedi student Exar Kun would construct his lightsaber at the beginning of his Sith training. Exar Kun modified his original Jedi weapon in an ancient holocron left behind by Freed and Nad, a holocron that listed an experimental new lightsaber, a double-bladed lightsaber that focused entirely on trickery. The blades could be activated and deactivated at will with only a thought, and the very intensity of the blades themselves could be altered. Exar Kun redesigned his lightsaber based on the instructions hidden within the holocron, and the finished product was a weapon the galaxy had never seen before. But Exar was not done. The former Jedi had become fascinated with the prospect of Sith alchemy, using the dark side of the Force to literally shape the galaxy around him as he saw fit. And his first motion of business was to pour as much dark side energy into the blade itself, cursing the lightsaber for time and all eternity, and essentially making it indestructible. While it's true Exar Kun would eventually be defeated and imprisoned, the Jedi Order victorious, the scars that he left on the wider order itself would remain there forever. And after his defeat, it was noted that the lightsaber of Exar Kun could not be found on the last battleground of Yavin 4. The weapon had personally killed many Jedi over the course of the war that Kun started, and the Jedi Order could still sense that it was somewhere on Yavin 4. In order to locate it, the Jedi created a new Jedi Covenant. The Covenant were a secret organization of Jedi on the world of Coruscant during the events of the Old Sith Wars. The group was established after the Great War by the Jedi Kindra Dre, who felt that not sensing the fall of Exar Kun as a Jedi to the dark side was her ultimate failure. The group's goal was to use Jedi consulars as shadows in order to search for shatter points in the Force that may lead to the resurrection of the Sith, attempting to make penance for not sensing the eventual downfall of Exar Kun. Behind the Jedi Council's back, the Covenant would do anything necessary to prevent the return of the Sith, even if it meant killing children, lying to the Jedi Council itself, and breaking the Jedi Code whenever necessary. The group had seen the terrors that Exar Kun wrought throughout the galaxy, and they believed that if they had been established then, they would have stopped him. But what of the lightsaber? Eventually, the Jedi Covenant, after decades of searching, would find the lightsaber on Yavin 4, revealing that the cursed object never ventured too far out of its master's sight. The Covenant deemed it far too dangerous to be around many Force sensitives that they did not trust, and therefore, Coruscant and the Temple was not an option for the safekeeping of the blade. Instead, they whisked it off to a location known as the Sanctum of the Exalted, the safest place in the ancient world of Odrin. On Odrin, there was a group of holy monks known as the Fiorin, and they were the only ones who were permitted access to enter the Exalted Sanctum, calling themselves the Exalted Ones. All this changed though when the Jedi known as Feln ultimately became Exalted himself. Feln was a member of the Jedi Covenant and opened up the Sanctum to the Covenant so that they could use it for the storage and study of Sith artifacts. Specifically though, what they believed to be the most dangerous of artifacts, the lightsaber of Exar. It was here where they created the nullification resin in order to prevent their corruption or the weapon escaping. As time went on, many Jedi grew very suspicious of the Covenant, believing that a trove of all of these dark side artifacts, including Exar Kun's lightsaber, was too dangerous, and that it could be affecting the Covenant's very minds. Because of this, a small strike force of Jedi, as well as bounty hunters, broke into the Holy Sanctum, stealing away many artifacts, but most notably, the lightsaber of Exar Kun. The lightsaber was eventually claimed by the Mumo brothers, two bounty hunters tasked with the mission. But following this, something strange would happen. It is known that the bounty hunters sold the weapon on the black market, but to who or what is completely unknown. What we do know, however, is that the Jedi Council personally intervened, tracking down the lightsaber of Exar Kun, purchasing it, and then meditating on what to do with the evil blade. The Jedi could sense that the resin would not hold permanently, and that the dark energy was piercing throughout the very weapon itself. It is because of this that they elected to lock the lightsaber away on the temple in Coruscant, in one of the forbidden rooms that only the members of the High Council were allowed to enter. And here, the lightsaber rested for more centuries. The Jedi Council believed that if the weapon were to ever reach the hands of a Darksider or a Sith Lord ever again, not only would it corrupt whatever innocence was left fully, but the specifications and modifications to the blade were simply too dangerous for the Sith to wield. Exar Kun had proved that point, and the Jedi Council did whatever was necessary to hide it away for all time. Unfortunately, this is the last lore that we ever hear about the lightsaber of Exar Kun, but what is very unique about it is that the very Jedi Council itself kept it very close at hand, calling it one of the most dangerous lightsabers of all time, and a lightsaber deeply hated by the Jedi, so much so that it urged them to create a secret organization known as the Jedi Covenant. One day in the lore, I hope to find the final resting place of Exar Kun's lightsaber, whether Sidious or Vader ever located it, or perhaps whether a Jedi, an Order 66 survivor, whisked it away, hiding it somewhere else among the stars, where the Sith will never find it. But anyway, my friends and acolytes, this was the tale of the most hated lightsaber in all of the lore, and its eventual, unknown fate. As always, my friends, thank you so much for visiting our archives yet again, and I hope to see you in another upload.